All right, YouTube, this is Mr. Mean coming at you this Friday evening, a little bit after 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I have a very special guest, if you couldn't tell by the background there. Christian, would you go ahead and introduce yourself and say who you represent, please?
Hi, I'm Christian Nome. I'm the creator of Titan Effect RPG and the founder of Night Errant Media, the company that publish Titan Effect.
Yeah, so
When I say company is a bit ambitious because it's just me technically.
that is so many game companies, I totally, and it is ambition. It's good to be ambitious. So awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, I fell in love. I saw the primer for Titan Effect a couple of years ago. How long has it been out now?
A bit more than 3 years.
Yeah, 2019? Was it 28?
Uh,
End of 2018? Early 2019?
2018, yes.
Yeah. And I remember seeing a primer on Drive Through RPG, and I was like, ooh, what's this? And so I downloaded it, and I was like, oh, this is super cool. Unfortunately, I live in a part of the country known as hell, otherwise known as Duluth, Minnesota, where everybody here just wants to play D&D. So they're not really open to trying new games. So it's very painful. Thank God for Discord, the Meanie Army, and everything that we have here. We have a very robust community and lots of great people that like to play different games. So I get to play these different games. But the cool part that I found, I reached out to Christian. And if you don't notice by the funny accent, he's French, so don't hold that against him. He's a super nice guy. And he makes a really cool game called Titan Effect. And you can see on the background behind me, there's a different cover. Christian, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. It's the new cover for the second edition of Titan Effect, which is called Titan Effect RPG Declassified. And it's a complete new edition for Savage Worlds Adventure Edition and compatible with the new Superpowers Companion that just been released.
Yes, which I have. I did pick it up, and it is amazing. So
Yeah, no, they did a really great job with this one. And
yeah. Well, the Suede edition,
more
the new
Titan Effect
adventure
because
edition.
there has been a lot of change.
Yeah, and charisma. We will, but so the way this all came about for everyone in the Meanie Army is I picked up the hard copy of Titan Effect and fell in love with it again. Like I said, it fell off my radar and I forgot about it, and I just happened to see it it popped up in my feed on Drive Through, and so I said, oh, what the hell, and I bought it. And it came in the mail a couple of days later, and I started flipping through it, and I Googled it, and I went, wow, this is gorgeous. But I had noticed that it was for the original, for the old Savage Worlds, and hasn't been updated to Suede. And so I reached out to Christian, and he was not very fast in his response. Thank you. And he pointed to me that there is going to be a new version that he's going to upgrade it, and it's just taking some time. And so we're eagerly awaiting that. But I will tell you guys, if you don't have this and you like kind of like a James Bond meets superheroes, this is the RPG for you. If you're into spies, if you're into espionage, you've got all of that in here. You've also got genetically altered humans. So if you want to go a little bit more of that sci-fi route, you can. This would easily port into any other sci-fi setting. I mean, your traits or your edges and your disadvantages and stuff, all fantastic. I mean, how did this come about? Has this just been a genre of yours that you saw a void and you decided to fill it? What led to us having Titan Effect?
It's a long passion project. It's something that I've been working for more than 15 years now. And it's a universe I wanted to create first for an animated series, and didn't work out. Then I started to work on a comic book project, and I had a few setbacks too. And after years of working on that project and going nowhere, I decided to use all the material that I produced for it and develop a tabletop RPG with it.
Well, we're thankful
And
you did.
I'm glad I did too, because it was well received by people.
Yeah, and you
So I'm
said
really
it
glad I
started
did.
to be a comic book, right?
Yes.
Wow, that
In
would have been
fact,
interesting to see.
Yeah, in fact, the short comic book that people can see in the book, the first 5 pages, were in fact made for the my comic book attempt. I was working with artist Randy Vargas, who's a Cuban artist living in Barcelona, Spain, and worked together. He did a lot of character designs, some that are still in the
Oh,
first 5 pages. And unfortunately, before I could find a publisher ready to interested by the project, Randy decided to stop working on comics because it wasn't he didn't make a living with it,
yeah,
and he had a great opportunity with Art of the Coast. So it couldn't work anymore with that artist, and you know I had a lot of setbacks before, and I was a bit tired and a bit desperate. Like I worked so hard on that universe and project, and I was like, damn, am I gonna throw all this away and do something else, or I'm gonna try to find a solution and use all that for something good? And finally, I came with the idea of making the RPG.
yeah. Well, we're glad you did. Like so many of these, indie publishers, which you're a part of, they're always a passion project, right? It's always a desire to see your creativity be expounded upon and put out there. And, I can only imagine the sense of pride of seeing the physical book, and being able to hold it in your hands. It's got to be immense.
Oh, the first time that I received the book, it was and I'm not sure if my girlfriend would agree, but it was like holding my first child for the first time. It was I spent so much years working on that project, and finally holding that book in my hands was like, that's it. It's real.
Yeah.
You know, Finally there's something that came out of it, and I was proud of the
Yeah,
result.
those all those 15 years of hard work and never knowing if it was going to make it. Now it's real. What made you go with Savage Worlds? Did you just feel that mechanic was the best game system to support the type of game, or were you just a Savage Worlds fan?
A little of both. I was already a Savage Worlds fan. In fact, I discovered Savage Worlds with Deadlands, the first edition. I was a big fan back in the time, and when they switched to Savage Worlds, I followed, and I fell in love with the system because I saw that it was so simple and so efficient.
Yeah.
And when I worked on Titan Effect, and the idea of making an RPG came, it was like a normal choice for me to go that road because it's a system that I know well,
Yeah.
and I felt that it was the best system at that time to make Titan Effect.
Oh, that's awesome. So with the declassified version, hopefully coming soon, and no rush. We all understand burnout and fatigue and COVID and everything else, and hence this lovely voice you hear right now is a product of COVID. I'm still getting over it, but are there going to be major changes, or is it just going to be the upgrade to the rules to bring it into the suede version?
Well, there's a when I started to work on the sway the conversion. First, it was supposed to be a simple upgrade of the PDF and then the book. And I realized that making all the change will force me to add more pages and more art. And I thought to myself that instead of just doing an upgrade, I could do the book that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do at that time for a lot of different reasons. And so during the 3 years after the release of Titan Effect, I released a lot of extra material, like something called the Spear Unit Guide. That's some sort of guide about different units working for the Spear, and that works also as a campaign ideas. There was also I released recently an add-on about playing Chimera and Neo Cereanthropes for Titan Effect. And I decided to use all that extra material and put it directly into the new edition because the people would have less extra materials to check in.
Right. Go all to one place, one book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also decided to I hired a new editor who's very knowledgeable about Savage Worlds, John Stevens, who's doing wonders. So we're reworking all the text
Oh,
to make
that's
it
awesome.
better. There was a lot of passive voice in
Yeah.
the ancient edition, and
Yeah.
we wanted something more active,
Yeah.
clearer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this is I want to go back to like the different genres and whatever you play. You know, Wizards of the Coast is coming out, or Hasbro is coming out with the G.I. Joe RPG, which I have no interest in. But I do, you know, I grew up with that cartoon, right? I was a very young man when that cartoon, you know, hit out. And, you know, of
I grew
course,
up too with it.
yeah. So that's a beloved genre, so to speak. The A Team, you know, those shows. So this is definitely something you could do. You could recreate that game with Titan Effect, you know, if that's the kind of game that you and your players want. So that's really nice that we have that versatility. I can't wait to see. Do you know if the declassified will be hardback? Will it be available as a hardback or?
Print on demand, so it will be on hardback
Okay.
and soft cover.
So it'll be self-published through drive-through, right?
Yeah.
Print on demand.
The PDF will come first, obviously, and once we have proof read the POD available.
Awesome.
Of course, with now all the shortage about paper
Yeah. Rough
and
time to be a
transporters,
publisher
it's
right now. Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit of I would say it's a lot of problem to solve because I don't know for the moment how much I would sell the new edition. How can I make it, you know, profitable enough for me to uh, to be able to pay for all the art that
Right.
all the new art that's in the book, the
Yeah.
editing.
Yeah.
So, but you know, when you love something so much and you can do it,
Yeah.
you don't
Well,
ask yourself too much questions.
we'll back you as much as we can here at the Mr. Mean channel because I'll tell you, it really sparked me. I just loved seeing it, you know, in Spear and Chimera, and you know, it harkened back to like many hours of playing Splinter Cell, you know, or you know any of those type of games, GoldenEye on the Nintendo, you know, just a great game.
It's funny you mentioned video games because was one of the biggest influence for Titan Effect was Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, there you go. Metal Gear Solid, you know, Snake is awesome. You could also do if you're old enough to remember Escape from New York. You could
Yeah,
totally run that with this. So and the horror book from Savage Worlds. It's amazing. You've really done a very unique world. You know, Chimera and Spear, the two opposing agencies, are really well done and thought out. I can't wait to see what
thank
they
you very
look like.
much.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they look like in Declassified. I'll tell you this: we'll definitely have a copy here on the show for. We'll definitely purchase a copy for the Mr. Mean channel, and then when that book comes out, I would love to invite you back to so we can showcase it and talk about it. That would be
Sure.
amazing. But now is where I like to pick on you, and I know you're French, so don't take it personally. But there's a couple weird questions I love to ask all my guests, and so. The first one is you're on an airplane. You're about to crash on an island. You're all by yourself. You can only take one RPG book with you. Only one. And it's going to have to last you for the rest of your days. What book is it that you would take?
Savage Worlds.
The core rulebook?
Yeah,
Yep. Because you can make whatever game you want from that.
exactly.
And you can play solo. So no problem.
Exactly.
Coconuts and volleyballs can be the tokens. All right. Well, that's very good.
You can do anything with
You,
that game, you know.
you sure can.
Pulp, space opera, horror, modern,
Anything.
spy, anything.
Yeah. So then the next fun one is there's a ton of games. You're obviously a seasoned veteran like me.
I
What's the
lost you.
one? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're cutting in and out. I think you've got a big storm up there in Canada or up north here. We've got a lot of bad weather, so it's probably affecting our connection. But out of all the games, you've been around for a while. You've probably played several. What's the one game you wish you would have had a hand in creating or made yourself?
Hmm. That's a really tough question.
It's I like to ask the hard probing questions here on Mr. Mean Speaks.
Okay, Star Wars.
And why?
Why? Because it's the first RPG that I ever played in Game Master. It's the RPG that introduced me to the world of RPGs. And at that time, I was a huge fan of Star Wars. I still am, but I had the experience to discover a lot of other things since then. But for me, it was one of the best RPGs ever made. And I'm
So
talking about the
West
first
End
one
Games
made by
version, the
Western
D6
Games.
version. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. All right.
and even today, I still think that it's a wonderful game, and
Oh,
even
it's
the rules
I
can
love
still
it.
work.
It's just I hate the let me get my dump truck full of D6s. When you get up there, you start rolling a lot of dice. But yeah, no, it's still a beautiful game system and still holds up well. So then the next weird question I like to ask is if you could sit down at the gaming table with anybody in the world, past or present, alive or dead, who would it be?
Hmm. Uh,
Anybody.
I love to be with Steve Kenton, who made Mutant Mastermind.
That would be interesting. Yeah, he's a pretty cool duo. I got to talk to him once or twice, and he's pretty neat. So that's a great answer. It's the first time we've had that one on the channel. One of my I don't remember who said it, but they wanted to play. They wanted to sit down and play with Albert Einstein, which I thought that would be pretty good to sit down there and play with him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the mechanics and the mathematical equations of that would maybe go a little deep, I think. But yeah, no, Steve Kenson, that's a great Mutants and Masterminds, fantastic system. It is one of my. I have all 3 versions of it behind me. Well, I've got the Titan effect, so you can't see the bookshelf. But yeah,
I have plans for a Titan Effect conversion to Mutant and Masterminds.
oh, you heard it here first, guys.
It's in the pipeline.
Oh, that would be amazing. I can't even begin to tell you. I would scoop that up so fast. And like I said, if you need any play testing or anything like that, I'm a very humble game master and would be more than happy to beat the crap out of your system and tell you the problems with it. So
Cool.
I've been doing this for 30 plus years. So I love it. It is my hobby du jour, as they say. Is there any, here's a good question. You mentioned Star Wars. So unusual in the fact that D&D wasn't your first game. It was Star Wars. You must have been a wee lad.
What the wee lad?
You were very young.
Oh, very young. I don't know. I'm born in. I was born in 1978.
Yeah, you're young.
Thank you. I take it.
Yeah, well, I'll be 55 this year, so I feel your pain. Yeah, no, but so not that young though. I mean, you were around in the heydays of D&D, but back then in the 70s and the 80s, West End Games they were on top of their game. They made a lot of great games. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Do you still have all the old WEG Star Wars books?
Unfortunately, a few years ago, I sold all my old Star Wars collection, and today I still regret that stupid thing.
Yeah.
But I bought 2 years ago the anniversary edition of the first edition.
Fantasy Flight, yeah. So
Yeah.
you got that. That's awesome.
And I even introduced it to my son.
Oh,
But
excellent.
so far, he doesn't like it. He prefers to play D&D. So keep asking me to run D&D games.
Well, maybe turn him on to Pathfinder or Savage Worlds.
I'm trying very slowly, but it is, when he has an idea, very difficult
Yeah, most
to
young
change his
teenagers.
mind.
Yeah, he's your kid for you've got an influence on him. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think kids should play more games, obviously. So there's definitely
But
nothing.
he loves RPGs,
Oh,
and
that's
even
awesome.
and even brings friends to play RPG and say, "Hey, that's very cool. My dad is doing that."
That's awesome. So, um, that's really all the weird questions I have to ask. Those are my three mainstay. I think they're really good. I'm so
They're
happy
not weird.
they, well, they make you think, which is obviously always a good thing, right? Keep those brain cells firing. I gotta say, man, as a one man passion project, now you've got an editor that you're working with and stuff like that. So it's looking really good for you.
It, it's a one-man project, but I like to insist on the fact that I when I made the first edition, I wasn't alone. I had two good back in France with who I played a lot of RPGs over the years, and they helped me on the writing. There's my friend Gislain Bonot, who's working now for Black Book Edition, one of the biggest RPG publisher in France,
Nice.
who did work with me on the rules, and friend Daniel Emar, who worked on the background and still works with me.
Oh,
And
that's awesome. So you have
so,
help.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
and their
always
help
nice.
have been very important to me, and still is.
Yeah, that's
So,
amazing.
I'm like the evil mastermind, you know,
So are you
manipulating
you're the head of
everyone to get
Chimera?
the best
That's
book possible. But I'm not alone, and I also had a lot of amazing artists working on the book, and
yeah,
a
the
few other
art in the
people
book
who
is.
helped.
I can't wait to see
And
Declassified because the art in the regular book is amazing.
well,
It's really well done.
with all my modesty, I will say this: if you love the first edition, you will love even more the new one,
Oh,
because there's so much great art that has been added. There's even a new short comic book that's going to be in the new edition, and I'm amazed. And the new cover that
yeah,
was
the
made by
cover looks amazing. I really,
yeah,
well, one of my channel
it
colors
was
is the neon green, so obviously you can't go wrong with it. So,
it
yeah,
was
I
it was
love the new
made
cover.
by Bad Moon Art Studio, who's
Hmm.
also working for Telltale Rain Games on The Witcher and Cyberpunk Red.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't say enough. I showed it. When I did my video review of it, and it had good reviews and good views on YouTube. So that's always nice to see. So people know about the game, and it's that's the point of this channel here is to highlight indie publishers, guys like you that put their blood, sweat, and tears into their games, and they don't get enough recognition. They don't get enough kudos to tell them how cool their game is. Because from your end, you're looking at sales, and no, it's not selling as well as I'd like. Nobody likes my game. Self-doubt and all that stuff creeps in. Please don't have any of those thoughts. Your game is phenomenal, and I know Declassified is going to be even better. So I can't wait to get a hard copy myself. So I want to see it happen. So please, make it happen.
You know, the biggest reward for me, it's not the sales, but all the excellent reviews that I have, fans that write to me, and regularly it happens.
Yeah,
And
that's good. I
when
mean,
when I watch your review video, I was almost in tears because you were so passionate about how you love the game, and I was like, wow, each time it's
well, it's like your child,
it's
right?
some yeah,
This is
exactly.
something you created with some of your
You know,
friends, so it means
you
a lot
feel
to you,
that you haven't done all that for nothing,
right? Paul, please,
and
you
I
have
still
not.
have people. And the big the other reward is knowing that 3 years after its release, there's still people playing it. I still have people saying to me, "I'm doing another Titan Effect campaign, and I'd like to heard about. I'd like to have your opinion on some ideas that I'm working." It's always a pleasure. It's always great, to have these people writing to me, texting me about how much I love the game and what's coming next.
Yeah. And I got to make sure. I think I did it, but I'll have to go back and double check. I'm one of the few reviewers on DriveThruRPG that's allowed to post videos, because typically their policy is they don't allow videos to be posted.
Yeah.
But I am allowed, and so I will double check. I think I did. I try to remember to do it, but I'll make sure I go and post that a link to my video review of your book, because I think more people need to know about it. It's a great game, and it's it's small. I love the production size of it. I love that digest size. The comic book, it's definitely got that comic book feel to it, which who doesn't love comic books? I mean, everybody does. So you've, like I said, you knocked it out of the park. You've done a great job, and I for one appreciate you. So thank you so much for making a really cool game. And like I said, I can't wait to see what the next version, declassified, what it looks like, and it's definitely on my list to buy when it hits the drive-through. Is there any other projects you're working on, or anything else you're involved in, or is it pretty much just this?
Conversion.
Yeah, you cut out for a second.
There's also talks for there's Sigil Entertainment that made recently a Superhero X for 5th edition. That's a superhero game system for Dungeons Dragons 5th edition. We made a jump start for Titan Effect conversion. So we're taking, trying to see if people respond well, and if it's worth to make a full conversion for this rule system.
Wow.
So maybe it will happen. There's a French translation coming this year.
That's good. Cool. Well, on my Discord here, and I know as a publisher, and you're pulled in 6 different directions, but please be aware that I have a hashtag publisher announcements on my channel, and you are more than welcomed to post in there as well, for solicitation and for advertisement. And I will mark you as a publisher on my server, so it'll give you access to that. And I fully encourage you to use that avenue for self-promotion. I think it's it's a small YouTube channel. We're just over 1,000 subscribers. The Discord's pretty active. We've got several publishers on the channel there that are active. So if you ever have questions or anything like that, Stephen Turner is on the channel. He's an amazing guy. He's behind Britannia Games and Chivalry and Sorcery. And he's in England, and he manages a warehouse and has a publishing arm. So if you need distribution assistance and things like that, he's really good with that, and he's more than happy to help anybody. He's a super awesome guy. Oh, it looks like I lost him. Oh, he's coming back.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
For a minute.
Yeah, well, whatever you missed, you can always go back and watch in the thing there. Is there anything else you would like to talk about, or anything you want to bring to anybody's attention? We got Mutants and Masterminds conversion. We're looking at possibly a 5th edition one, so that's super cool. Anything else in the works?
There's also a campaign book for Titan Effect.
That's good?
That's something that we wanted to make for years, but we wanted to make the Suede edition first before
right. So that'll be a separate book?
Yes, it will be a separated book, and it's gonna be. We're trying to do something epic. Something memorable.
Sounds good.
But there's also for available right now. There's a free mini campaign.
Yes, I think that's on drive-thru, and I grabbed it. And the character sheets I think are on there as well. So
exactly.
Yeah. And if anybody hasn't already got this game and you're on the fence, do yourself a favor and go download the primer. He has a free Christian has a free intro basically to Titan Effect, and it's really well done, very professionally done and looking, and that'll give you a good taste of the game. And then you can decide where you should just throw your money at it, as far as I'm concerned. But that's just me speaking, and everybody knows I'm a fanboy. So, Christian, I don't really have anything else, sir. My voice is getting rough on me here. But is any parting messages, or tell people where they can they find you? Or are you big on social media? Do you do the Facebooks or the Discord? Do you have your own Discord server?
Yeah, they can find me easily on Twitter, Facebook, Discord.
If you don't mind shooting me a message with all of those links, and I'll put them in the show
Absolutely,
notes.
I
So
will.
if
And
you want it out there, so people can contact you.
yeah, and yeah, they can contact me very easily. I'm easy to reach, and when I have a busy schedule, but when I can, I try to respond quickly as possible.
You were great, sir. Like I said, I reached out to you and you responded really quick. So thank you so much. It was very kind of you to spend your time on your Saturday evening with me. I appreciate it because
My pleasure.
you don't know me from Adam, as the old saying goes. But I love interviewing you guys and seeing the creative process and the passion, and it really shows. I'm super excited. We'll get this uploaded. No, thank you. Because without you, there's no me. So definitely send me those links to all your information that you want. If you have a special email or whatever, just put all that in the chat here with me, the private message, and then I'll cut and paste it and put it in the show notes so people can reach out to you. Guys, if you haven't picked up Titan Effect, don't wait for Declassified. Get the original version, see what all the hubbub's about, and then you'll be so excited when you get Declassified. I know it's going to be amazing. Christian, I can't wait to see what it looks like. You've got a fan here. You're more than welcome to come back on the show and talk about it. However you decide to move forward with it, we're all eagerly awaiting, and we have a really good community over on the Discord, so I encourage you to stay and hang out and chat with those guys. And there's a lot of people that are publishers themselves on the channel, so they can give you some advice or point you in the right direction if you have questions, because you don't have to be a one-man show. That's the nice part. It's a big community on Mr. Mean Speaks, and we're there to help people and get games like this noticed so that people can play them and see how cool they are. I just, in closing up, I just want to say thank you so much. You're awesome. I appreciate the work that you do, and I can't wait to see what's next for Knight Errant Media. Go ahead and tell everybody good night, and we'll let you get out of here.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
All right. We're going to stop recording, so give me 1 second.
Sure.